leading in the field of aerospace, exploring the mysteries beyond the gateway, the existence of life and planets beyond Earth. The American Space Agency, abbreviated as NASA, has sent humans to the moon, sent exploration robots to Mars, and sent probes beyond the solar system. But that's not all. They are doing even greater things. A few kilometers from the city outskirts in a stealthy zone lies NASA, the aerospace agency established in 1958 after the U.S. Congress passed the National Aeronautics and Space Act. NASA specializes in researching space-related issues, including flights within and beyond Earth's atmosphere. At the same time, they ensure that America's space activities will bring benefits. Some individuals quickly achieved great milestones, then suddenly went silent. Shortly after its founding, NASA achieved many accomplishments for all of humanity. A landmark moment. The first time humans set foot on the moon was in 1969. Then, from 1969 to 1972, 12 astronauts in separate groups landed on the moon. The Voyager 1 and 2 spacecrafts were launched into outer space in 1977 to explore Jupiter and Saturn. By 2012, Voyager 1 became the first human-made object to exit the solar system, entering interstellar space. Or consider the Curiosity rover, NASA's autonomous exploration robot, which landed on the surface of Mars, beginning its mission to search for life on that planet. And even more remarkable is the International Space Station, ISS, built through hardship, in cooperation with 4 other space agencies from Russia, Japan, Canada, and Europe, which is now the main site for current space research, with a total of 1,500 research projects conducted in microgravity conditions. However, according to aerospace experts, the fact that NASA could send people to the moon in a short time, but then the manned spaceflight program stalled, that is highly unusual, especially given the threats looming from all sides, which could strike Earth at any moment. Natural disasters, man-made catastrophes, nuclear war, or even the danger from a form of life known as AI. Artificial intelligence can replicate and replace humans, so the fact that NASA halted its manned spaceflight programs is highly suspicious. A breakthrough product, with suspicions pointing toward SpaceX, the Space Exploring Tech Corporation, a private aerospace company in the U.S., has made significant breakthroughs. Rockets launched and then safely returned to Earth. SpaceX was founded in 2012 by billionaire Elon Musk. After only 3 short years, in 2015, the company successfully launched a Falcon 9 booster into space and brought it back to Earth intact, marking a historic turning point in reusable rocket development. Moreover, it opened up tremendous opportunities for the industry. The commercial service, which previously cost between $61 to $79 million for launching Falcon 9 and satellites into space, has now been reduced to just $612,000, thanks to reusability. Even more notably, SpaceX suddenly rose to prominence in the aerospace field, collaborating with NASA on multiple programs and successfully launching boosters that could land safely. This has led experts to suspect that the NASA we see today might actually just be a cover. Many believe that NASA is using the name of private companies to carry out its own programs, because by separating from the government and moving into the private sector, they can avoid a lot of bureaucracy and do many things without having to answer too many questions. A researcher, Richard Dolan, author of the book UFOs and National Security Threats, stated, "Based on my studies and years working with NASA, I've found that whenever UFOs appear or are involved, I am immediately blocked." Last year, the United States declared that they had removed human participation from space programs. This is unrealistic. even completely illogical, since the US is the dominant force in space and would never voluntarily step back or give up that position. On the contrary, they must be able to control the game. Analysts suspect that they are participating in secret projects to search for space-related achievements from ancient civilizations. Experts suggest that NASA and the US government not only have classified space programs being implemented through private companies, but are also conducting investigations at archaeological sites around the globe to uncover links to other planets. Researcher Richard Dolan stated that there is compelling evidence suggesting that NASA has discovered manned flying objects belonging to extraterrestrials. At the same time, there is also evidence that NASA has been studying advanced technologies from ancient times. There are many murals and stone carvings at Chaco Canyon, New Mexico, USA, and at several other locations in the Middle East containing very intriguing clues. Moreover, these artifacts appear to not be of human origin. It is meaningless to say that NASA went to ancient archaeological sites like Göbekli Tepe just to conduct prehistoric research. One must remember that NASA is a space agency, part of the US government's aerospace division. However, some researchers have pointed out that there are many mysteries within Chaco Canyon. Now drawing NASA's attention, Chaco Canyon is one of the most important archaeological sites in the American Southwest. It was a well-utilized area, not merely a simple settlement outpost. It contains roads leading from Chaco to many other regions. It seems Chaco Canyon may once have been a commercial hub. One of its great mysteries is that the people who lived there suddenly disappeared, left it all behind. Archaeologists could not find any cemetery or trace of burial. That is something they cannot explain. They truly do not understand why an important center like Chaco Canyon existed. Surely many people must have lived here. Some suggest that there is a strange form of energy at this site that could be harnessed. Research suggests that Chaco Canyon is a convergence point of magnetic energy. And this is the kind of energy extraterrestrials may have tapped into for a long period. Therefore, instead of using fossil fuels, they drew electromagnetic energy directly from Earth. Moreover, when looking at the entire Chaco Canyon region, one will see that it was a vast civilization, with many very sophisticated murals discovered. And the strange thing is, if things there were still peaceful, then how did everyone, including entire tribes, suddenly vanish the next day? Is it true that NASA and the US government are trying to tap into this archaeological site? And what have they found? Engineer Mike Barra, author of The Choice, once said, "In my opinion, if they are requesting access to this archaeological site, it's because there are certain links between the site and outer space. That's the key point. Other reasons simply don't make sense. And I believe they have found a few connections that can be exploited. That is the only reason why the Aerospace Agency is so interested in this archaeological area and is conducting such research." Researcher Nick Drago, an author who specializes in flying objects and unusual technologies in the US and Europe, stated, "Over many years of research, I've seen the government's interest in ancient secrets and artifacts. This helps explain NASA's involvement with archaeological sites or similar subjects." Another interesting point is that the CIA, the US National Security Agency, is also interested in the legendary Noah's Ark. Archaeologists, historians, or church scholars might care. But why would the CIA? And yet it's true. It suggests that someone within the CIA is documenting scenarios in which, in ancient times, there may have existed intelligent human communities who knew of or witnessed extraterrestrial visits during early civilization. And they are trying to uncover what the truth really is. I believe that explains why NASA is still searching for and marking archaeological sites. There is a possibility that extraterrestrials once came and helped ancient humans develop advanced technologies, then left Earth. We cannot rule out that possibility. Anything could be possible. If we accept that civilizations existed in the past, then we cannot rule out the chance that they had contact with extraterrestrial beings. Looking back through history, the things recorded in the Bible seem to be accurate. The story of the legendary Noah might be real. Archaeological discoveries of prehistoric civilizations have shown that modern science cannot clearly explain many things. Therefore, it is completely reasonable for NASA and the U.S. government to conduct comprehensive studies on archaeological sites across Earth. It is a path that could lead to major breakthroughs. Human civilizations may repeat in cycles. There have been recent discoveries of ancient cities submerged deep beneath the sea, or the formation of giant pyramids and the Sphinx on the Giza Plateau, all of which force humanity to reconsider the story of its own development. Construction of giant pyramids and the Sphinx on the Giza Plateau, all of it forces humanity to reconsider the story of its own development. Today, more and more scientists believe that humanity's development should be viewed through the lens of a cyclical model of civilizations, rather than a linear one, which assumes that human civilization began only once, around 5,000 years ago. A broader view, based on a repeating cycle, would open the door to explaining many mysteries that have puzzled humanity. For instance, high-level constructions and advanced technology and art have been discovered in various places beneath the ocean, or the water erosion marks found at the base of the Sphinx in the Sahara Desert. If human civilization is truly cyclical, then just like previous cycles, is our planet now heading toward widespread dangers, similar to the great cataclysms described in the Bible, or predictions by top scientists about nuclear threats and intelligent robots. This could explain the rise and rapid development of SpaceX, a technology and space exploration corporation. They are cooperating with NASA and the U.S. government on several secret research projects, including a program studying ancient cultural ruins around the globe. Because if human civilization truly follows cycles, then at the height of previous civilizations, it is highly possible that our ancestors achieved groundbreaking advancements in space technology, helping some people escape great cataclysms and preserve humanity to this day. In particular, there are many remnants and legends related to space programs of ancient civilizations. Many pieces of evidence suggest that NASA and the U.S. government are systematically studying ancient civilizations. In fact, they even named spacecraft after gods from ancient Egypt. Apollo, a name carried by the Apollo missions, which brought a total of 12 astronauts to the moon. Orion is a name that refers to the god Osiris from ancient Egyptian mythology. None of this is accidental. It's closely connected to the entire process that led to the success of NASA's space exploration missions. Researchers and archaeologists have gradually realized this by linking findings from multiple archaeological sites across the world. For instance, the ancient city of the Maya civilization in Mexico, a city called Palenque. There, inside a pyramid, are many murals and strange inscriptions. These works offer many fascinating clues. Researcher Erich von Däniken, author of Chariots of the Gods, stated, "In 1952, Professor Dr. Josh led a team of scientists and archaeologists. Inside the pyramid, they discovered a very deep staircase and a tunnel. After descending 352 steps, they reached the base of the pyramid. There, they found a large triangular stone slab, which turned out to be a door. When they opened it, they discovered a stone mural measuring 3.8 meters long and 2.2 meters wide. It was a massive slab, intricately carved. The mural depicted a man reclining backward, as if seated on some kind of vehicle. He wore a protective helmet, clearly shown in the front. His hands appeared to be controlling a device. His left foot was pressing something like a pedal. Behind him was an object resembling a tube, releasing some form of energy. The artwork was astonishing. A man sitting on a machine. I reviewed all the explanations given by archaeologists. They believe the man depicted is Pacolay. In my view, this is entirely accurate. Pacolay was the ruler during the late period of the Maya civilization in Palenque. The archaeological community claims that the mural has nothing to do with space travel or machinery. They believe that Pacolay is simply seated at the mouth of a mythological creature. According to them, the object on his chest is a tree, or something symbolic. That has been the prevailing explanation among archaeologists for about 40 years. However, leading researchers like Joseph Squire, in his latest book about Palenque, argue that the figure is indeed Pacolay, the final ruler of the Maya civilization. But rather than being swallowed by a mythological monster, he is depicted as leaving Earth aboard a type of vehicle. Every detail in the stone carving points to the cosmos and the stars. The megalithic blocks at many archaeological sites provide another clue about ancient space programs. These massive stones are found all over the world, and even on Mars and other planets. If these solid, precisely cut blocks are evidence of ancient civilizations or have connections to extraterrestrials, then some archaeological sites may be the remnants of advanced space programs from ancient times. In South America, there is a place called Puma Punku. There, massive stones are found, some weighing up to 800 tons. Local people pass down stories claiming that gods created these blocks, gods from the sky, with white skin, who made them in a single night and then left, taking all their tools with them. Today, the indigenous people who live in that area still believe the gods created it. They began building temples around the site, and it gradually became a sacred sanctuary. Researcher Billy Carson, also the founder of Forbidden Knowledge, stated, "Through our study of ruins at various archaeological sites, we believe these were once space stations or control centers. One of them is Puma Punku. We believe that this site was clearly a command center for ancient space programs. At several archaeological sites, we discovered large pits. These are often referred to as wells, places where, historically, women were sacrificed in rituals to pray for rain during long periods of drought. People believed that only through sacrifice could they receive blessings from the gods. But upon closer observation, it becomes clear that these pits were dug to hold objects resembling rockets. When analyzing the geographical structure and how they were constructed, it's obvious they resemble fixed launch platforms for rocket systems. This is a mysterious piece of technological architecture. Mercury was discovered beneath the ancient pyramid, Teotihuacan, an archaeological site in Mexico, and it remains one of the greatest enigmas for archaeologists. They do not know who built it or for what purpose. The structure has been dated to around 200 BCE. On April 27, 2015, mercury was found beneath one of the pyramids at the Teotihuacan complex. Mercury is not something ancient people would have used for any common purpose. It is a material critical to modern technologies, especially space-related devices. It is not characteristic of ancient times, but rather of a highly industrialized civilization. The discovery of mercury at this pyramid complex holds tremendous significance. It suggests that an extraordinarily advanced society once existed in the past, a civilization that reached a high level of technological achievement, and then something happened, possibly a cataclysm, that wiped everything out. Billy Carson shared, "Teotihuacan is a mysterious place, and the discovery of mercury there is a remarkable breakthrough. Mercury is an extremely unique and fascinating substance. It is a liquid, yet it exhibits magnetic properties like a liquid metal. If you experiment with it, you will find that mercury has characteristics that seem unaffected by conventional gravity." The ambition to relocate 80,000 people to another planet, based on the theory of recurring cycles of human civilization, is becoming increasingly compelling. At the end of each cycle, when humanity faces a global extinction-level event, the question arises, how could some people survive? Many scientists, consciousness researchers, and even NASA believe that survivors from previous extinction cycles managed to leave Earth before the catastrophe occurred. No matter how advanced their technology was, global destruction would eventually wipe everything out. This is why there is now a race to migrate to Mars using space travel. The founders of SpaceX once declared their ambition to send 80,000 people to Mars on a one-way mission. On June 8, 2016, Elon Musk had a secret meeting with U.S. Secretary of Defense Ashton Carter at the White House. Some believe this meeting was evidence that Musk was invited to join a secret space program run by NASA and the U.S. government. What would drive a billionaire, someone living like royalty on Earth, to leave the planet? They wouldn't choose to die alone in a space capsule. There must be infrastructure in place to support a large number of settlers. Some researchers suggest that Chaco Canyon, Puma Punku, and Teotihuacan may form an ancient map pointing to distant planets. Perhaps NASA and the U.S. government are using this knowledge to fuel space technology breakthroughs. These sites belong to different civilizations, and when catastrophe strikes, no level of technology can prevent destruction. The ambition to relocate 80,000 people to another planet is bold, but not unfounded. Earth now faces natural disasters, nuclear threats, AI, pollution, and climate change. From biblical texts to ancient ruins, evidence suggests that at the end of each civilization cycle, only a small group survives to enter the next.